Well, thank you very much for joining for this yin practice. I'm Marta, and we're going to be doing 60 minutes of a very luxuriating, hopefully stress relieving, tension relieving practice this evening. So to begin, I think it would be nice for us just to begin on our backs. So go ahead and lie down. Get yourself comfortable. As far as props, you might want to have nearby a blanket or a towel and a bolster. And you may want to have a block if you have one handy, and if not, it's not a big deal. We'll just work around the props for the most part. So once you're comfortable and you're lying on your back, it's always really nice, particularly if this is the end of your day, to just close your eyes, and we want to just remove our distraction in the sense of looking and processing information, which is what we do all day long, because we're moving into a yin state. So we're moving out of the yang part of our day, and where we're processing, we're decision making, we're active, and we're going to just become very still and very quiet and very passive for this practice. So just begin by taking a nice long draw of breath. Again, just luxuriating in that ability just to take a nice long inhale. And then exhaling it all the way out. Just really allowing yourself to empty. Just see that exhale through to completion. And then when you just feel that inhale naturally coming, just invite it in like an old friend, just providing you with a sense of just coming into this moment, into your space. Just relishing just the simplicity of that, just becoming more presently aware and observant of your body, of your breath, your energy. We all come to the practice for different reasons. For some of us, this is just a little luxury in our day. And for others, particularly at this time, I know it's maybe the one thing that's tethering you to sanity. Whatever it is, whatever brings you to your practice, take a few moments here just to be filled, completely filled with a heartfelt sense of gratitude for having this time, for having this practice. Let yourself be filled with a sense of awareness for the blessings that you have. Maybe it's a loved one that you can bring to mind. Maybe it's the little things in life that we just tend to take for granted, right? Just for having a home and a roof over your head, warm blankets, fresh water. Things that people in other parts of the world don't always have. And let us just simply ask that this practice help to bring balance to our bodies, balance to the emotions, our emotional well-being, finding balance there, and balancing the mental energy as well. And just give yourself just a couple more moments here to just rest with your breath. can just slowly begin to open your eyes and maybe just begin by stretching your body. Just a nice full body stretch. Reaching the arms overhead. Good. And then you can circle your wrists and your ankles. So if you want to just take them up towards the ceiling like this, you can do that and try that out, or just right where you're resting on the ground, circle your wrists. You might want to try some figure 8 movements with your hands as well. Good. And then go ahead and just hug your knees into your chest and go ahead and just start to rock back and forth, side to side. Let your head roll from side to side as well. I'm just going to do that just for a few more moments. Just gently rocking back and forth, and just this rocking movement is a really nice way to just simply calm the nervous system and just to begin to release some of the tension in the back body and some of the tension that we can sometimes accumulate even in the back of the head, the skull, the neck. And it just feels good. It feels nice to rock. It's a really wonderful, lovely way to just nurture yourself in a very loving and supportive way. Good. And then you can go ahead and either roll onto your side or just roll straight up. And then we're going to take a seat here. We're going to do just a little bit of movement for the upper back. So feel free. You can sit like I am. I'm sitting on a block right now on my shins. You can do that, or feel free to sit on a bolster, cross-legged, whatever works for you. And then we're just going to simply start just by just kind of doing a little bit of work for the shoulders, just really big, kind of like you're doing a backstroke. You can lean over and you can start to just kind of rotate the chest a little bit. Good. And then let's go forward with that movement. Good. And then you're going to just bend your elbows, and you can just start to kind of like you have little chicken wings. And we're going to make circles with the elbows. And you're going to, at the same time, roll your chest, rotate your chest from side to side. Go both directions. Again, nice, big, generous circles with the elbows. Good. And then just release that. And let's take some shoulder rolls here. Just rolling and shrugging your shoulders right up to your neck. Nice little hug for your neck, and then exhale, take the shoulders back and down, and do that again. Big breath in, exhale, release that out. Do that again. Yeah, maybe do some in the opposite direction. All right. And then just maybe shake the hands out a little bit. And then you can go ahead and get rid of your block if you're sitting on a block. And you're going to want here either a pillow or a bolster or a folded blanket. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you with a bolster. We're going to do a supported back bend, more of a restorative type of back bend. You're going to probably want to have something for your head if you're using a bolster, because the bolster is a little bit bigger. So maybe a blanket, maybe a pillow. You get things set up the way it's going to feel good for you. So when you get into it, you'll know right away whether you want something to support your head or not. Make sure you keep your butt on the floor. And then you're going to just come back into your back bend, okay? And see how your back feels, see how your head feels. If it feels like too much, then you want to maybe just raise your head up a little bit higher. Now I have my knees bent. You can keep your knees bent, or you can just stretch your legs out like this. A nice position for the arms is just straight out to the side, kind of in a T shape. And the important thing is to just listen to your own body, right? If you try the bolster out and you get into it and it feels like it's just a little bit too much, it's a sensation that you don't think you're going to be able to be with for very long, or you're experiencing pinching or anything that feels sharp, just try something different. Find another alternative. And so we're just really dropping in here. You can feel right away just even the skin of your chest and the area around your rib cage beginning to stretch, and all that soft tissue, the fascia tissue below the surface of your skin, slowly stretching. Bring your awareness to your breath moving. If you were to actually able to take your breath into your belly, your diaphragm, your lower belly, just direct the energy from your breath into that area so that you feel the belly expanding as you breathe in, drawing back towards the base of the spine as you breathe out. All right. I see I've got a couple of you joining. That's wonderful. I'm glad that I'm not alone. Okay. Back bends, these particularly supported restorative back bends like this, are really, really wonderful thing to do just to counter the effects of slouching, right? Being over a computer, a keyboard, driving our car, all these things where we're just kind of hunched over and the shoulders are rounding. It's so important to then, counter that shape by opening the heart space and opening the chest. That's a nice one to do just any time at the end of your day, even if you're not doing just a full formal practice. We're just going to be here for a few more breaths. This is always a good time to check in and just notice if there's any holding or unnecessary tension in any other part of the body that you might be able to just consciously let go of right at this time. Sometimes it takes a little while in the posture before we can fully submit and surrender. And then we're going to just come out of this pose. All you need to do really is just roll to your side. It's probably the best way to come out. And then just use your hands to push yourself up to seated. And so we're going to stretch the neck a little bit here. Again, feel free to sit on a bolster or a block, whatever feels comfortable. Okay. So we're sitting nice and tall. Just take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, just slowly start to tip your head over to the left. I like to give myself a little smile here, just because energetically, even if we're not feeling happy, sometimes just smiling can just release some of the tension that we hold and carry around our neck, our upper body, our jaw. This is a really nice place just to simply explore, kind of rolling the chin towards the chest and then rolling the chin away. And you might even want to take your hand and just maybe use the fingers on that hand to knead out some of that tension that might be there. It's just kneading and kneading. Just a little self-massage is always a really wonderful way to just express some really nice self-care for ourselves. Good. And then slowly, just take a moment here, come back to center and just kind of notice how that feels, having released some of the tension on that side of your neck. Very good. And then just take a nice breath in again, just lifting through your chest a little bit. Make sure your spine is nice and long, and then gently, just slowly start to tip your head over to the other side, lowering the shoulder away from the ear. Continuing to breathe. Notice if you start to develop any tension in your belly or in your jaw, sometimes your forehead, your brow. And then just continue to explore, right? Finding where you're feeling the most tension. Perhaps rolling the chin down, maybe rolling the chin up. Just savoring very deep, very smooth inhales. As you arrive at the top of each inhale, just that state of fullness, maybe just pausing there. Just lingering in that state of fullness before releasing the breath out. Good. And then you can just gently begin to bring your head back to center. And again, just pause there. It's nice just to really recognize the effects of these postures on your system, your physical body. Notice energetically if anything feels different after having lengthened and release some of that tension there in the neck. Okay, good. We are going to move into just a real soft restorative butterfly. So feel free here to sit on a folded blanket if you'd like. And for this one, we're actually gonna support the head. So if you have a bolster at home, you can take your bolster. And this one's kind of squishy, but you can manipulate it a little bit if you want to use blocks stacked on top of each other. But in this way, or you could take it down a little bit further if you want to get a little bit deeper in this posture. You're just going to simply, bottoms of the feet together. You can have your heels out a little bit further. You're not bringing the heels in real close, but we want to have a little bit of space. So as you look down, you have kind of a nice little diamond shape here between your legs. And then just again, you just want to just begin that slow journey of breath by breath, moment by moment, slowly easing into this posture, allowing yourself to just remain fully present with the sensation of the breath moving in and out of the body. Giving yourself time, ample time to experience the completion of each breath. So the forward folds are also a really nice one to do, particularly if you're experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. Forward folds are very calming for the central nervous system. It puts our nervous system into the parasympathetic state, which is just the opposite of the fight or flight. It also, when we're folding forward like this, with the legs in this position, you're accessing some of the meridian lines, these same meridian lines that are used in acupuncture and massage. And we're hitting the gallbladder as well as the urinary bladder lines that run along the spine and the lower back. So just simply the way that works is that because we're putting pressure on those meridians, these energetic pathways, it's stimulating those organs, providing greater flow of fluids and energy. You might notice as you're holding these poses longer that it's a slow kind of, it's like peeling an onion, right? There's just like layers and layers of tension that are there that if you just remain really present, you can just slowly feel and experience that kind of unfolding or the peeling back of the layers of the tension. We're just going to take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Again, maybe you just go a little bit deeper for that last breath. And then very, very slowly start to ease yourself out. Okay. And you can just grab your knees, just take the outer knees, bring your legs back together, and then let's just stretch the legs out here for a moment and just roll your ankles. That'll feel nice after having that pressure on the outside of the ankles like that. Okay. So now we're going to move into supported sphinx. Again, another different variation of a back bend. You can use, if you don't have an appropriate pillow, if you do, in other words, if you don't have a bolster, You'd need a firm pillow for this. You can also use just a folded blanket. So the way that I like to do this supported is just to lie down on this so that your upper part of your belly, so just below your bottom rib cage, your diaphragm area is going to rest right on the very front edge of that bolster or blanket. And then you can put your elbows on the opposite side, the front edge here. And then the neck, we just want to have a nice neutral neck. Just let your feet be at least as wide as your hips. And you can right away start to feel a really nice stretch right about the mid-back area. And again, if it's too much, if you're up on the bolster and you're feeling anything that's sharp or pinching, you should never feel that. It should feel just that kind of dull ache that you get from a deep stretch, a deep release. If it's too much, then just back out, get something smaller, maybe just a folded blanket or something, a smaller pillow. And then return once again just to the simplicity of just the breath. Right? One of the best ways that we have to release ourselves from the stress of life, to find that balance, is to practice mindfulness. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoy the yin practice so much, because there's lots of opportunities to just simply be presently aware and observant without judgment. That's the key. So we're not getting tied up in thoughts of how the experience is, whether it's good or bad. We're just keeping the mind just focused on what's there. Sensations coming and going. Breath moving in and out. And as you spend time within the posture, just really breathing into whatever you're feeling there, whatever is coming up, whatever you happen to unearth through your practice. All right. We're going to slowly ease out of this posture, and we're going to do a counter pose to our Sphinx. And I'm going to offer you actually a couple of different options here. First one is child's pose. And you could do this supported like this. You could be resting on your bolster, or you could just have your forehead resting on the floor, like so. Another option, which might be nice if that bothers your knees, is just to simply come onto your belly and come into what we call flapping fish. So you on your belly, and just take your knee, one knee at a time, and just kind of slide it up. Bend the knee so you're resting on the inner edge of your knee and the inner edge of your shin and ankle. And if you've chosen that option, I'll let you know when we're about halfway through, and then you can just simply switch legs. So either option, flapping fish or child's pose. It's always nice to just close your eyes in the pose and just allow yourself to really begin that movement, right? So that you're scanning the body, scanning the mind, finding where the tension lies. Notice the little ways in which you perhaps hold back or grip or hold on in a pose. Just maybe seeing if you can begin to release through those areas. Just let yourself rest in a state of unconditional receptivity. If you're on your belly and you're doing flapping fish, the knee that's bent, just go ahead and stretch that leg out straight and then bring your other knee up. Once again. Just enjoy the stillness. Enjoy the sensation of letting go, of surrendering. Body, mind, soul. And then we're going to just gently begin to ease our way out of this. So if you're either on your belly or in child's pose, let's come up to hands and knees here and let's just move a little bit. So let yourself move through a few rounds of cat-cow. Maybe throw in some hip circles. Just a little bit of movement there. Good. All right. And then we are going to come to seated once again. Feel free to prop yourself on a folded blanket if you'd like. Okay. Particularly if you are maybe a little bit tighter down in your hamstrings or in your lower back. We're going to take the legs out for dragonfly. So legs out. You don't have to go as wide as the legs will go, but you do want to get them out there a ways. Okay, and then you're just going to simply, with a nice tall spine, you can just slowly start to walk your hands forward. Just moving slowly right up to the edge where you're feeling the strongest sensation of stretch, and then pausing there. And rather than holding on tightly there, we want to soften. We want to just relax into that stretch. Relax into that energy of that stretch. You'll eventually, in this practice, encounter sensations that you're going to be inclined to turn away from, that you're going to be inclined to want to avoid, because our mind is habituated to to reject pain and seek pleasure. So when you do encounter those places within yourself, the challenge of this practice, and where I think the biggest amount of growth happens in terms of creating new neuro pathways in the brain, is your ability to be able to be in that experience, that strong sensation of stretch, rather than falling into the habit of wrestling with it and fighting with it. It's just actually embracing it, welcoming it. And we're going to slowly come out, and we're just going to change the position of our legs a little bit. So you're just going to bring your legs a little bit closer together here, a little bit wider than the hips, just a little bit, and then we're going to fold forward again. And then, I did forget to mention, a very nice thing to do here when you're in these forward folds is to support the head and support the neck. So you could do a couple of blocks stacked, or end of a bolster stacked. I'll show you from the side. It could look like this, or maybe you just have a bolster and a block and you put your block on top of your bolster. And in this way, it's nice because then your head, your neck doesn't have to work to hold up the weight of your head. And you can just let the lower jaw kind of unhinge a little bit, maybe make some circles of the jaw. And breathe with that energy deep down into the belly and into the lower back. It's really, really nourishing posture for the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Just sit on the back, just above your kidneys there. Very slowly, just start to back out of this pose. Just walk your hands up the legs. Sit here for just a moment, just feeling what you're feeling. All right. And we're going to move into a supine twist. So we're going to be on the back. If you want to maybe spread out a blanket underneath your back for this part, that might feel really nice. You might want to have a block or a bolster handy. So this is a real simple supine twist. You're going to start by hugging your knees into your chest. And then you're just going to take the knees over to your right. So a nice option here, it might feel good to put a blanket between your knees and your shins and your ankles. You might even do a block. If there's another variation of this of a twist that you want to do, maybe you cross the knees, twisted roots, a little bit deeper, puts a little bit more of a deeper twist. You can try that. Right? You can do one leg straight, one knee bent. There are so many options, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just really listening to your body and seeing what is going to be the best choice for you right now in this moment. just again begin to just dial in, just be on that quiet journey of noticing as your body begins to respond to the shape. Right? Your body begins to release all those different layers of the onion, right? Let yourself, if you can, be free of any judgment about what you're experiencing. Notice it, notice the energy, notice the feedback, but in a way that's just impartial. If you feel your mind wandering off to another place and time, or just encourage it. Notice that it's happening. Notice that you've wandered off. And just gently bring the mind and the thoughts back to the present moment. Maybe just being slightly aware of sounds that are near or far. Just being quietly aware and observant of the sensation of the skin and just the air on your skin. Maybe you've got a pet, a cat or a dog who's wandering and winding around you as you're lying there. Try not to have judgment about it. Just simply notice it. Just be observant of it. That state of consciousness where we're just being conscious of what's in front of us. We're going to slowly bring the legs one at a time back to center. So just take your time. Bring the legs back. Give yourself a really nice squeeze. Just kind of hug the knees in. Bring the knees a little bit further forward so you're resting kind of right on the sacrum. You can have your hands on your knees if you'd like, or you can have your arms by your side. Let's just take a few little circles here. So it's like you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your knees. Just kind of rolling over the area all around your sacrum, your SI joint where your sacrum meets up with your iliac bones. All right. And then let's do this same twist over to the left. Whenever you're ready. Again, either knees stacked, right? Maybe you're going to cross the legs. You might want to prop with a blanket or a bolster between, and you might even actually, as you take the right arm out to the right, you might even need a prop for the arm to support that shoulder. Right? The sensation you're feeling should not feel sharp, right? It shouldn't feel painful. There's a bit of discernment that goes into that, is just discerning the difference between that strong energy that you get from a deep stretch versus that sharp pain that typically goes with, where we're actually tearing tissue We don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. And then just find your breath, right? Notice where you're holding on. Maybe your spine isn't completely relaxed. Maybe the back of the neck, the jaw. Maybe there's a tightness in your throat that you haven't fully let go of. Maybe the legs are holding on. Maybe the legs are not fully releasing into this posture. Moving back into that place of quiet stillness. Just being mindfully aware of the moment as it unfolds. Nowhere to go right now. No problem that's going to be solved right here in this moment. Let's just enjoy letting the mind be quiet. And we're going to slowly start to ease our way out of this. So just start by bringing your right leg back to center. Gently bringing the left leg back to center. Give the knees a little squeeze there again. Maybe rock a little bit left to right. All right. Last posture that we're going to do is banana asana. And this is just a nice side bend. So stretch your legs out, and you're just going to walk your legs over to the left or the right, doesn't really matter. You want to keep both of your butt cheeks on the floor, that's important. And then you're going to just take your head and shoulders over to the left as well. You're going to reach up. You can either grab your right wrist with your left hand, or you can just bend the elbows and grab either forearm. Just let the back of your head rest on the floor, your face turned towards the sky. One option that might interest you or might feel interesting to you is to just take your right ankle and cross it over your left. It'll just give you a little bit of a deeper stretch there. Another option, something that I sometimes will do in this pose, is you can bend your left knee, the leg that you're bending in the direction of, and then just hold on to the outer, hold on to your ankle as an option. It's fun to explore, and it's fun to be able to take these postures and try some different things and have a unique experience. It's always okay to back off if you've found that you've just maybe taken it a little bit too far in a posture. You overdid it, and just back it up. You should be able to really fully relax in the posture. And again, just allowing yourself just to simply feel the fullness of each breath. And we're going to slowly release back to center. Release your arms, bring your legs back to center. And then we're just going to do the same thing over to the other side. So you'll just, again, walk your legs one at a time over to the right. Make sure you keep both of your butt cheeks down on the floor. Lift and kind of wiggle your shoulders and head over to the right. Reach up, grab your left wrist, or try the elbows bent. Just find something that works for your shoulders. Maybe you cross the ankle, maybe you don't. Again, this is a nice time here just to check in. Notice if there's any little spots of tension that are hiding. Maybe some holding that's been happening that you weren't fully aware of, and then just bringing your breath into those areas, maybe releasing through the legs, through the spine, the shoulders, the upper back. And we're going to very gently begin to release and come back to center. So just bringing the legs and the arms back. And then we're going to find a comfortable resting position right now. So take your blanket, your bolsters, and just support your body in any way that is going to feel really nice right now. Maybe you cover yourself with the blanket. Maybe you put a bolster underneath the back of your knees to rest. Maybe support the head with a blanket or a pillow. So we'll just end our practice with just a few minutes here of just simple rest. No pose, no posture, no doing. Just the simplicity of being. You might want to turn your lights down just to enjoy this time. I'll lead you into this final rest with just a poem that I wanted to share with you. Feel free to tune in with your ears, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can tune out if you'd like. It's called The Choice by Dana Falls. Is it faith or fear that rises to the fore? Affirmation or negation at the very core and center of the self? Will it be light or dark within the heart today? The icy grip of fear that knots and sours, leaving me to cower in the shadows? There is another way. I know it surely as I know the scent of spring. The choice of faith invites, invokes, calls forth from all creation, both the blessing and the lesson of the day. Whether faith or fear, the choice is mine alone. Each moment, choosing, stepping through the door, trusting that the path beyond will surely lead me home. If you have more time to continue to rest, by all means, I think that you should give yourself that. It's been wonderful just being here to support you in your practice. It was an honor and it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Namaste.